Let's try this again, shall we? We're gonna bring her on. Okay. It looks like I can do general requests for people to hop on my live with me. So we're gonna have Jenni Rae do that. Jenni Rae, do it! For those of you who missed the first live, it was several minutes long. I ended the live at 11:11 by accident, but let's be honest. Was it an accident? It was, but like it wasn't. Okay. Hey, Vera! So I'm going to wait for Jenni Rae to come on. She's going to be the guest today. Hey, Kristen, you're back. Welcome back. She's going to be the guest today. We're going to be talking about branding and how to fortify, protect yourself against audience loss on social media. And this is going to be good. And now I am told that this is the way it works. This will work. So, just waiting. Vera, what have you been up to? I saw the recent post for, was it yesterday or the day before? Some beautiful wedding hair. Amazing. Great to be back. Crispin, what are you doing to celebrate today? Celebrate, honor, remember today. It's a mix of a lot of people are doing a lot of different things. So, yay, Jenny. Yay, Andrew. Oh, Jenni Rae wants to be in my video? Oh, well, maybe we should just do this. Get ready. So good. Let's do it. Broadcast. Why, yes, she does. And that's what I want to do. Let's go. Ah, finally. If this works. It says adding. I feel hopeful. I feel really good about this. Got a good feeling. Julia, you're back. Hey. And we can actually do the dang thing. Woo!
I feel hopeful too. Oh my gosh.
Yes, we're here.
Wow. All the changes.
Jenni Rae Oates. Yes. Oh, good. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. Listen. I finally got to meet this chick in person 2 times. But anyway, this is a woman that I think, Jenni Rae, did we get together about 2 years ago, was it? Online?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Probably almost 2 years ago, yeah.
Everything feels like 6 months. It's been everything feels so bad. But so this is a woman. There's a lot of people on my friends list that know Jenni Rae, and there's a lot of people that don't. And for everybody that did, I want you to know that this is the account that she's on now, and we'll give you the backstory, but this is the account that she's on now. Please follow Jenni Rae here. Like, you'll see her picture, you'll see her popping up in the chat, whatever. Follow her here. Click on her thing and follow her here, because she has a brand new Facebook account, and she is not brand new to Facebook at all. So this is where you want to find her. And the people who don't know Jenni Rae yet, if you know me, if you love me, if we have a relationship, trust me, you want to follow her stuff. Like, if you like anything that I do, you're going to love what she does. So this is Jenni Rae officially, but we're going to give you some backstory on why this is happening, because it's relevant for your brand, it's relevant for your business, it's relevant for your mental health, dear God. So we're going to talk about making personal branding that pops. This is like such a perfect, Jenni Rae, I can't believe the timing of this conversation too. Like we talked about, like, I want to bring you on the page. I want to let everybody see you and like know where to find you again. But also the timing for what you're doing and the timing for the brilliant branding and my program that's running starting tomorrow. Like, it's all like, I didn't even consider any of that. It was just like, we got to get everybody together. We got to get the gang back together. And this is when it happened. So Trisha Snyder, there's another one.
We gotta get the gang back together. It's been so lonely over here.
I know. So we're
fixing all my people.
I need to. You went from having like an absolute Mardi Gras at your house for a whole week to like, where are my humans? So I can definitely do that. I can bring my crew to your house and make it feel like
Yay.
loud again. Okay.
Let's do it.
So we've got Jenni Rae is. She is not new to entrepreneurship. She's been in the game for a long time, and I'm going to have her tell you what she did before so that you have some, hey, Dawn, so you have some kind of like reference and some framing about what's going on here and why this affects you. But she's been in the personal development space essentially her whole life, but in terms of business, for how long for the personal development side of things, Jenni Rae?
How do you even separate that? I mean,
no, yeah, well, for WIT, like for the whatever it takes stuff.
For this brand,
yeah,
about 2 years.
Okay, 2 years, and before that, it was doTERRA for how many years?
Still going.
You're still going.
2016. I've been in network marketing since I was 20, so that's been 20 years.
So no big
20
deal.
years of Yeah, no big deal. Just literally, it's the people business.
Yeah.
That is all about people development. You are the brand. You are your
Yes.
personal brand. So
Yes.
this is perfect conversation.
Yeah. So you used social. When did you start using? Because you did this organically, face to face, person to person before social media came in with doTERRA, right?
Yes, and a blog. I mean, so years ago, blogs were a thing, right?
Yeah.
Before really Instagram, and they still are some,
Yeah.
but yes, a lot of blogging, a lot of writing in my early days, 2008, 9, just like that was social media.
Yeah.
That's how we got things out.
Yeah.
And
That
then
was.
mostly Facebook, a lot of Facebook, just lifestyle type
Yeah.
branding of what I was doing.
So then you've really had we can talk about 20 years experience using blogs, which are still considered social media because there's the comment section in the community, but also like you pushed into Facebook and built a Facebook group, and you built an audience, and you had a following and a huge friends list. And so you had this big network that was a blend of doTERRA followers and then personal development, like Jenni Rae Oates, do whatever it takes kind of people. So the blend of both of them. And you built, like, I mean, what is your following on Instagram's pretty hefty too, like it's over 7,000 or something, isn't it? And YouTube,
That's close to 10, somewhere around
okay,
there.
10,000 plus in Instagram, and like over 7,000 on YouTube. So this is like, you know your way around, and like you had a ton on Facebook. And then what, 2 months ago, 2 months ago, all of a sudden, like right before, a month and a half ago, right before you were getting married, Facebook was like, good morning, you're done. For absolutely no reason, ma'am. You will not be accessing anything, nor can we send you any explanation or give you any reasonable response as to why we decided to kick you out of Facebook forever. Amen. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, literally, I woke up and I'd gone live a few times about a series of lives I was going to be doing in April with my husband, who we were getting remarried, and that's a whole story in and of itself. But yeah, a week before April, when all these lives were going to happen, we just went live 3 different times talking about restoration and marriage, and then shut down. Got a message just saying I violated community standards. So there we go.
We're not allowed to talk about love, so careful.
Careful.
Careful. Divorce is better. Let's talk about that. So this is like, when to give people more, for if you don't know Jenni Rae, and those of you who do are going to be like, oh yeah, like hit it in the like, I know Trish Snyder, I know you, I know Jenni Rae knows her, or I know Jenny Hope knows her. Like, for the people who know her, feel free to echo this in the comments for whatever's true for you. But Jenni Rae Oates is one of the most squeaky clean people I know. Language, honesty, like compassion, empathy. She's gonna apologize just in case maybe she made a mistake, and like if there was a chance that you took it the wrong way, just want to address that up front, because like, you know, relationships matter. This is the woman we're talking about. So this is a woman who doesn't swear. This, like, she's not swearing on her lives or on her written stuff, like anywhere. She's not bashing anyone. She doesn't criticize. She doesn't give bad reviews. She just exists and brings light to the world. No big deal. And so this is the person that got shut down for absolutely no reason on Facebook. So when we talk about, I know, Trisha, I know, when we talk about you're susceptible, we all are. Everyone is. So when we're talking about fortifying against audience loss, Jenni Rae Oates was about to release a new brand, which we're going to see. It's so good. It's so good. But release a new brand for herself. And this was a culmination, this epitome of everything that she's done in the last 2 years. And she's like, I got it. And she cracked it open. It was amazing. And Vera, she is perfection, isn't she? I know. And this is when her wedding was happening, and this is when Facebook shut her down. So no one could celebrate this wedding with her. Like, her husband had been like real quiet on social media, so it's not like he could be like, hey guys, she's over here now. You know, it was like harder to get that traction going. This, like, how is she going to communicate with everybody about this new brand? And like, this was bad timing, it seemed. But what we also know is that, like, you can't stop a train that is that powerful. So, I mean, nice try. Thanks, Mom. But we should call FB something else, just so that I don't get shut down myself. But
I
anyway.
know, I was actually thinking that.
Yeah. So let's call it Bob. Okay, Bob.
Okay, Bob. I like it.
Bob's
nice try, Bob.
Yeah, we divorce you, Bob. So this is when we talk about audience loss, I want to talk about, like, tell everybody can probably feel the feeling in your body if Facebook was like, Bob, if Bob was going to shut you down right now, and like everything was gone, your chats are gone, you can't access, you can't log in, you can't, if you even logged into somebody else's account to go see what other people were saying on a post that you wrote or what you commented on their post, your text is gone, your messages, your comments, your everything in the chat, it's gone like vapor, like it never even existed. It doesn't just like delete some, it's everything's obliterated. So how would that make you feel right now? You know what I mean? So Jenni Rae, when that happened to you, immediately you're a problem solver. So I know that you're going to feel the feelings, but what was your first move once you got the news that there's like absolutely no way you're getting in? Besides reaching out to them and trying, and they're like, no, we still don't care. Besides that, Bob, what did you do? What was the next move?
Oh gosh, in the midst of a lot of tears.
Right.
So that was the first, one of the first moves was a lot of tears. But honestly, like at that point too, I didn't know if it was just, you know, like they're going to review it. That's what they said. We'll review it. So it's like, there's that shred of hope.
Yeah.
In 7 to 10 days, it's coming back, or I mean, at worst 30 days, which again, as you mentioned, horrible timing because it's leading up to our wedding, this thing that so many of our community have walked with us, have watched over the years. It was our son's heaven day. Like these are moments, these are marker moments where I had people texting me going, I didn't see your yearly balloon release this year. I missed it. I wait for it every single year. I've been watching it for 16 years. Where was it? On his birthday in April. And so like, there was just these, every one of those messages I got, I was crying. And also like, I got to pivot. Like what does this even look like? So at first it was really just, trying to find a place to go live. So YouTube was the thing for me. It was like, okay, well, we can still go live there, and I still have community there. And you know, I've been really like honing this community over on Facebook. And so it was like, I don't know, will anybody show up? But that was the first pivot. So, and just in the meantime of waiting.
Yes. So this is a, you know, obviously not only like what I want to mention too, and just so that nobody misses it. When Jenni Rae, hey Maria, when Jenni Rae said that it's her son's heaven day, when he passed, was it 16 years ago? Okay.
May 6th was 16 years.
May 6th, 16 years ago. This is a diary for Jenni Rae. Facebook was a timeline of her life. This is memories of her life that happened, things that changed her, that she's getting memories of things that popped up. And you know how that happens, it enriches your day. It enriches your heart when you see the things that mattered to you, that affected you enough to post it and to talk about it and to share it, and just like appreciation for what you've come through, all of that. That is a loss. That's a big loss. And it doesn't take away from the fact that Jenni Rae has memories and it lived it. But it is something that she trusted in, and we all do. And for it to be taken without, you know, recourse, without any explanation, is very damaging and potentially. But so this pivot into like, okay, what else do I have? Like, if we can talk about protecting yourself against audience loss, there's two ways to look at this that we're going to talk about today. Is the fortifying for the social media element that you actually design. So you're on, whether you're on like Facebook is your game, and that's your comfort zone, and that's where you play. Great. Then there's typically a tertiary, like an adjacent social media that feels comfortable to you. A lot of people, everyone uses YouTube for something, but like you might not have an account there and use it in that way for business, but you might have an Instagram account. That's usually the first adjacent to Facebook is Instagram. The second one is not for everybody, but for some people, they're going to use it TikTok. And it's not comfortable for everybody, but it's there. And then there are still blogs happening. And so, and there's like, Clubhouse is still a thing, I think, for people. But what is the thing? Like, what is the next adjacent? If you're considering this, what is your adjacent social media account? And if you've been through trainings that I've done before on social media, you probably know that I talk about like, you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be everywhere. But if you can start slowly, like building up an audience in the next place that feels comfortable in a way where you're actually engaging here and there, and guard your time, guard your attention and your awareness, guard it, but like start building it up and pay attention. If you don't feel like creating unique content for each platform, if you're doing two and you're like, well, I do want to have a bit of a backup, then it's okay to copy and paste that stuff over to Instagram or over to, you know, like LinkedIn or wherever. If you're going to do that, it's okay to do that, especially if you're just like, this is my backup. But don't just do that without creating some form of relationship, because it's in the relationship. That's where everything starts anyway. Like, you can be without any branding, without any social media, and have a killer business because of the relationships. So don't miss that part. But it's not just social media. It's your email list. It's a text list. It's like, again, if you have a blog, if you have some kind of a resource where people have signed up through your programs on a course creator like Thinkific or Kajabi, like, where are you housing the information to connect with people? Because when I released the Power Method, that was the first time that I ever created an email list for my own personal brand, because I had to deliver that free workbook to people. Well, when the computer, like my computer did, everyone's computer did.
When Bob crashed again.
Yeah, when Bob was like, bye, and he just disappeared, and everyone was panicking, and there were billions of dollars of lost for product and service that day. I sent an email blast out as the highest open rate I ever had for my email list, because everyone's like, what's happening? And I was like, here's what's happening. So this is the kind of thing where, like, Jenni Rae's got an audience on different platforms, to not utilize them, to not utilize her network of friends that's like available to her and in the same industry, like, that would be a big loss too. So you have opportunities to pivot, grow, shift, and it could be even better. Because if this is, here's how I look at this. Bob's like, here's a big fat invisible middle finger, you can take that. And then it's like, oh, I just destroyed you because this is where you play the most. This is your sandbox? Not anymore. Well, now that it happened, because it happened, Jenni Rae Oates is going to have the cleanest, most potent friends list, okay? So, like, we're finding the silver lining here, and it truly is a silver lining. But be aware of this. The cleanest friends list of people that just love her, adore her, want to hear what she's saying, want to be around her, want to work with her, all of that. So this is like no fluff. Nobody's like just hanging out just because, I guess I'll like pad my friends list, whatever. Everyone's going to be perfect for her. And then all of the people.
There's no padding. I've got like 96 friends, so we've got no padding right now.
Yeah, but did you have 96 friends this fast when you first started? No.
Probably not.
Well, if you did, there were a bunch of guys being like, who's this hottie? Anyway, so then this is now she's got this network of friends. It's like, wait, what did they do to you? What did Bob say? And then we're all going to be like, crazy mad, helping her to get back to the right people, right? So this is where the network and the community and the relationships comes back anyway. And this is an area for Jenni Rae to say, I will fortify against any of this happening again, because I'll never put all the eggs in the one basket. And then, not that she did, but it was like, this was her heart and soul. And we don't let our heart and soul get crushed like that again. So we create boundaries around it and we fortify where we can. And then I just want to read what Andrew goes, I truly enjoy the absolute nonsense I posted 13 years ago. Not sure how I wasn't banned I actually don't know how you're not banned and she was, Andrew. I have no idea, because between the two of you.
No clue. I don't know how so many people aren't banned and I was. I'm like, what in the world is happening?
Yeah, like, not that Andrew's doing anything like insane, but it's like, he's definitely poking bears. Jenni Oates, I'm moving towards email and Pinterest. Yeah, Pinterest is another one in case Bob gets angry. I know. Bob's pokeable. Pinterest is a search engine and not social media and underutilized. Yeah. So but Pinterest is also social media, because people do interact with it. There's still a community on it, but it is more of a search engine, Jenni. Like, you're right. It is more of a search engine, and it's beautiful that way, because those things, like, they pop in Google like crazy. So when people are doing lookups. So Andrew currently banned. Yeah, Jenni Rae, you just gotta start swearing.
Jenni, she said start swearing. Let's set the record straight. I do swear.
Yeah, you just don't use it as part of your brand. So
yeah, it's not part of the brand. So they do come out every now and then.
They've slipped. If you have, so Jenni Rae, you've got an Instagram following, a big one. You've got a big YouTube following. So, like, as far as like the ego will hit us and be like, oh, it looks like I don't have any friends, like 96 people on a list. It's like, yeah, except the second they look at you and look at your brand and look at your banner and look at your photo, like, there's nothing about you that says, she's a virgin Facebook user. No, she's not. No, look at her stuff. Look how she set it up. No, she's not. Like, nobody's even going to like think that. If anything, people are going to be like, did somebody try to like celebrity copy an account? Because, like, she's obviously
I did get a lot of those messages.
Did you?
I got a ton of messages like, is this really you, with screenshots? Like, it seems like a scam and, you know, all this stuff. I'm like, no, 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 it's for real
Yeah.
me. I'm starting over. Like, I have nothing. Everything's gone.
I have nothing. I am bottom. I'm at the bottom. So this, but you now you have, like, you went 20 years in doTERRA, and you have all of these people that you have. What was the level? Because I don't really understand I mean, I've heard them a million times, but my brain doesn't keep it. What's the level of rank that you got to, that you're at right now currently?
So to clarify, I've been doing network marketing for 20 years, not all with the same company.
Right.
But in 2016, we completely started over. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm no stranger to start over. We literally walked away from our business, a paycheck that we spent 16 years building, and completely started over because we just saw some writing on the wall. We knew that we just knew opportunity, and we knew I'd put 16 years of growth and learning inside of me. So the start over was terrifying, but which is the same situation we're in right now, is terrifying, but it was this reality of like, I'm still me, and I'm the brand, and I go with me wherever I go. And so I've spent 16 years creating networks and relationships. And so starting over in doTERRA, what took us about 4 years to do in our previous company to hit the rank we did it in 30 days. And we broke a company record. There had been nobody that had done that. Average is about 2 to 3 years to get to that. One of the top ranks. And then 7 months later, we broke a second company record. And so it was amazing to see, like, it was a start over. It was a pivot.
Pause.
And
I'm actually not going to let you continue yet because, oops, sorry, because I can't. Does anybody else just hear that? Like, it was no big deal. Like, oh, we just broke a record. Nobody ever did that in history. And then we broke another one. They still haven't done it. I guess, whatever. Anyway, so what? Like, what? I can't, so okay, that was how long ago, and they're still not doing what you're doing?
that was in 2016.
What? However many people are, and it's got to be so many, but like however many people are in that company. And it's been how many? I can't count. 6 years, and
So
I can't
it's
count.
5 million people, I think.
5 million people in 6 years, and you're like, I'm just going to hang on to this record because nobody can do this. So you've done what 5 million people couldn't do. Is that what I just heard?
Yep. I don't know how and why all of it, but that's us. That's what we did.
Because God, also
I do know some specifics, but.
What? Danish, how are you? It's been a while. So I go with me wherever I go, branding Jen. Yes, but this is what we're talking about. This is like starting from scratch, starting from nothing, leaving it all.
Sandra, it's crazy, like, when I think about it, because I mean, just talking about this out loud, I'm like, it is kind of stupid, isn't it? Like, it's my story, it's my life. So like, you don't think about, like, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But I think it is so relevant to what we're talking about, because for 16 years, I did the hard work of do the blog, do the post, do the relationships, like all of it, and all of it in that 16 years becoming more and more and more clear on me and who I was, what my voice was, what I love, what I'm passionate about, like who I'm talking to, who I'm serving. And in that 16 years, built this community and this network that when we went over here, when we walked away from one thing and started over here, we were able to do it because of the 16 years prior, not just skill and experience. It was the brand. We were the brand, and people trusted it. And so when we went over here, they said, we're with you. It wasn't even about doTERRA. It's like, we're with you. And so here we are, we're showing up. And literally, to do what we did, we just had to find 16 key people. So that was the thing. It's like, it didn't even start like that. Business represents, so a diamond business, or a blue diamond, the second one that we did, represents thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But we didn't do it with thousands. We did it with 16 and poured into those 16. So it is really powerful for what we're even talking about with this. Is like, we get into the metrics and the numbers so much. And you and I have had some cry sessions, and I'm like, I've lost it all. Like, I have nothing. But it's like, it's the right people. It's the right people.
The right people matter. This is what happens when you clean house and you're like, I don't need thousands. I actually just need 16 amazing people who are connected like me. And this is like, and like you said, they follow you. They felt you are the brand. They trust you. So when you show up, when you are the brand, we're talking about making, like, how to make a brand that pops. Well, if you want to be, I don't know, 5 million people at a game that everybody has the same rules to, then maybe you just really double down on who you are and who you want to show up as and what that looks like in your business. Does it look the same in your personal life and your business? Like, can we stay congruent through all of these pockets of our life? When we do, our branding is effortless. When you are showing up and you're just Jenni Rae wherever you go, no matter what outfit you're wearing, no matter what company you work for, and you're just Jenni Rae, you're going to get the response from the best people wherever you go, no matter what, because you're not changing and morphing, and you're not trying to chameleon yourself to what you think that they need in that environment or based on that company culture or whatever. It's just going to be you, because it's honestly exhausting to do anything else, but it's also like the best of what you've got, and it makes life easier, and there's no regrets, and there's no second guessing, and there's no like, oh, did I leave that room okay? Are they going to think that that was weird? No, I just decide to be all the way me all the time. I don't have to question it. I don't have to come up with lies. I don't have to explain myself. I just get to be me wherever. That takes so much pressure off. And it also just, it fortifies and electrifies the brand, because it's the easiest thing to put into a company. If you don't have to create a brand for your company, you are, as a personal brand, you are the brand. And it just means, what are the elements of you? What are the elements of you that are the most impactful? What are the things that are magnetically drawing the humans in your life that love you to you? Put it in your business. Talk about it in your business. Frame it for your business. It's just that. Like, don't you feel that for what you've done and created, that the same soul of your business here is the same as here, is the same as here? Like, it's all kind of the same soul?
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing how with each iteration or each new business, if you will, like more of you gets to come out and
Yeah.
shine.
Yeah.
And not that everybody like just launches different businesses. I just kind of like
Yeah.
like to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So, but at the core of it all, like if I look at all the businesses I've ever launched, any brand that I've ever had, there is the same core in all of it. And it's that core of being a coach. It's the core of like being able to see transformation. Every
Yeah.
one of my businesses is about transformation and drawing the best out of other people that I work with and helping them become the best version of themselves. So it's like, whether it was in fitness, we have a fitness business, whether it's in health, whether it doesn't matter what the business has been for me, it's the same core thing that I'm doing and how I'm showing up, which is just being me, like passionately loving transformation and helping people find tools to be the best version of themselves. So
Yeah.
you're right on with that.
Yeah. So this is like, Jenni Rae had, if you've got, so doTERRA is one of the network marketing businesses, but as far as having these people that are like, we just love you. We're going to be here with whatever you do, because whatever you put out is fire. So like, we love you. Tell me what you're doing now. What are you doing now? How about now? Now, what are you doing? Like, they're just into it. And because they know what you stand for, so they know that they can trust whatever you're into is going to be something good. And if it's for them at this season of their life, they're like, I'm in. Of course I'm in. Duh. So when it comes to connecting with these people, if your face and his face is Bob, if Bob decided to obliterate your messages and your chat stream is completely disintegrated and you can't access anything anyway, and you can't remember, like if you're like me, I'm like, I can remember colors, like I can't remember details in writing. And so even if I can remember humans, we can't remember everybody over the last 6 years of whatever you've done with doTERRA. So were most of the transactions happening in Messenger, and you just would send people email confirmations that way, or?
For doTERRA specific?
Transactions,
No,
yeah.
I have an email list. Yeah. So a lot of things were happening through Messenger, but going offline into conversations. That was a big thing for me, is
Good.
like always in every business, learning how to take online to offline in some way, whether offline meaning email list, like where I'm in control of that communication, or to something else. So a lot of doTERRA, that community really, I put out a ton of content on YouTube. So there was that aspect as well.
Yeah, which doesn't expire, which is amazing. So if we're talking about protecting these assets of the assets of your material, your photos, your intellectual property, and just your memories in general, but also your connections, your people. We don't own people, but we want to talk to them again. So like, what happens when you don't? So if you've got an email list, you could get shut down in your email account. Sure. So back it up. And I'm not talking to you, Jenni Rae. I'm not like, hey, Jenni, back it up, Jenni Rae. I'm talking about in general, like when we're talking about what do we have and how do we protect it? You have a Gmail account, back it up. You can back it up. Just back up the email account that you have and maybe do it quarterly. Just have a reminder going in your calendar. Every 3 months, you've got a reminder that says, download a backup for my Gmail or whatever email you use. And for all of the people that you connect with, having like pulling them out of your contacts on your phone and syncing them if they don't currently automatically sync, and having that stored in the same place. Like having all of this, even if it's just a OneDrive or a Google Drive or a cloud folder that says these are all my contacts, and here's my Gmail, and here's my Facebook, and here's my like contacts for my phone, and here's my whatever. If we have somewhere that we're putting everything and we have to rebuild, this doesn't take a lot of time. This is like a once in a while random, you just need a reminder to do it.
Yeah.
But that way you can start a new email account somewhere else. You can create a text.
Yeah, girl,
line,
that's
you know?
like my biggest regret.
Right. Well, if you go in, but for instance, if you had a VA comb your email accounts with like hashtag doTERRA, you know what I mean? Like if they just looked up certain keywords in your email and they combed for any contacts and they were to put those in an Excel spreadsheet, then you could upload that into whatever mail server that you wanted to use, whatever like marketing program you wanted to use, and that way you'll capture as much as you can. But this is a great lesson for anybody starting out with, whether it's product or service, it doesn't matter. It's the contacts with humans, because it's not like, shoot, who am I going to sell to now? It's like, selling to people is a privilege, but it's such a small part of what we do. Everything else is the stuff that fulfills us. And you and I talked about this. It's like the heartbreak of losing the audience isn't, oh no, my business, where's my money going to go? It's like, where's my purpose now if I can't reach the people that need me? That's the part that hurts the most. So
yeah, I think that, and as you grow in your business, I think one of the businesses that we have is content creation, like that's a huge part of our business. And so the reality for me of realizing I didn't back it up, all that's gone. Like I wrote in certain things, but for years and years and years, I didn't have the same systems I have now, where all that past content, that would show the transformation even in me. Like that's a part that's like, man, I wish I had that, like to see the morphing and the transformation in me and my kids. And, my husband and I would send each other videos through that would pop up as memories. We'd send them through Messenger all the time and thinking they're safe because they're in our chat together, but I don't have those videos. Like back in the day, we take SD cards, stick it straight in the computer and like download videos straight to Facebook. Or you go live and you don't always think about downloading your lives. And so there's so many things that if I could make a suggestion to anybody, like if you go live, download it right away. Like have folders where you're keeping this stuff, because then it's yours, it's your content, and it's something that you're putting your heart and soul into creating. It's so much of you want to capture it, you want to save it.
Oh yeah. This is like one of the things that I do immediately after every Facebook Live. The immediate thing is download. I go, if I'm not on I'm usually on my computer these days, but if I'm not, like I go home and because my brain is broken and I will like forget 2 seconds later, like Dory, I immediately, if I'm on my cell phone and not in my computer, because you can't download them on your phone, so I will immediately end the live and then do a reminder or a notification for myself in an hour at most, download the live from your desktop. Because then if you're, obviously it's protected, you have that, it's an asset, you can repurpose it, you can put it on YouTube, you can put whatever. A ton of my stuff that I've done on Facebook, I've just like pushed to YouTube so that it's there as a search engine. But also, this is where, Jenni Rae's talking about having the memories pop up, and it's like, oh, and we'd send each other stuff. Her husband has the chat, but none of her information is going to be in it. It's just going to be him talking to himself the whole time. All of his stuff that he sent is going to be in there, nothing from her. It's all gone. So when it comes to the memories that pop up with your business, where you're like, oh, I did a killer post that, like, yes, okay, May, whatever, this is an amazing post, I'm so glad they showed it to me, I feel great about that. Actually, that's still relevant. I'm gonna like clean it up a little bit, repost it, or it's perfect the way it is, I'm gonna repost it. This is the stuff that's gone too, where you're like, that was a banging post. If you didn't write it somewhere else before you put it in Facebook, it's gone forever in the ether. So,
well, and what you were saying too, Sandra, was so key, is like, it's not even the content, it's the engagement. It's like certain of those posts had hundreds and hundreds of comments, which to me aren't about metrics and vanity metrics. We talk about that, like, oh, who cares if one post has 2 and one has 100? It's who is behind those
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
It's the DM that happened afterwards. And we start this entire conversation where I'm connecting with this woman and we're building a relationship, and that's gone. And so those, it's like, again, how do you take the online to offline to where you can keep having those kinds of conversations? Because for me, it's so much more about the engagement.
Yes.
And the relationships that were being built. I think that was one of the things, like, the memories, the kids, all the stuff was so sad. But then just the reality of, like, I have one business community group that I built that was over 1,000 people. And so instantly that's gone.
Right.
And you don't just rebuild that. You don't just start it all over and find those people, because those people have found me over years. I had another one that was about 500, and multiple of these communities where I'm showing up to serve. And it's so, like, I've been getting DMs like, hey, screenshot, is this your community? Like, I've requested to join. It has your name on it, but, like, why haven't you let me in? And I'm like, I can't. So another thing is add an admin. If you have a group or a community group, let somebody else be the admin. I did not add somebody else as an admin in a couple of these groups. And so there's a list of people waiting to join it because it's still active. It looks like it's there, but anything I ever posted in it's gone. The banner's gone because I would have posted that. So it's just some generic Bob banner. So that's all it is. Bob has decided what the group's banner cover is now. Gross. But, like, those people can't get in. So it's just those little things that I didn't even think about. Yeah. And I think some of it is, like, we see today so many people that are like, I'm taking a social media break. I'm going to come off. And so we feel like we're in control. Like, we feel like we have all this power. Like, ooh, I can just, like, not post or just not be on it for a while. Right. Mm-hmm. But whenever it's like, you really aren't in control. Like, you have the luxury in that moment of, I'm just not gonna look at my phone and be on it for a little bit. But the reality is, if it's taken away completely from you, you'd feel a little different about it. Like, you wouldn't feel like, oh, I actually don't really want the break from the engagement and the people and the lives that this represents. Yes, that's it. That's it. It's so having that, like you said, this is one of the things I want people to really take away is what is your system for connecting with people offline? If you feel complacent and okay with just having the conversation in the comments and DM, just know that the potential for that to be removed is around, and Bob can do whatever he wants. So if you have a system where you're like, even if it's got to be whatever's comfortable for you, but even if it's like, hey, I have an email list. I just want to make sure that I don't use it for this or this or this, but I just want to make sure that I have a way to connect with you in case I stop using Facebook or whatever else. Is it cool if we do this? Or if you haven't, if you've got Instagram, you want to add me on Instagram, or do you hang out on LinkedIn ever? Or, like, once you build enough rapport with somebody, and it doesn't take long, but it just takes, like, even Jenni Rae, probably like a couple interactions with people. Like, usually I hit people in voice note really quick because it's fast for me, and because it's fast for me, and also because people can hear my tone, and they can, this eliminates, like, all the confusion. If they're like, is she going to pitch me something? First of all, I'll never do that. Never, ever. But also, it's like, that way, it's like a faster connection where they can hear my heart a little bit. And so if we're then, like, 2 or 3 different exchanges, and it's like, if you're on Instagram, like, let's do this on Instagram too, because of this feature or whatever, like, having something that they can find you with. But if you have those memories popping up right now, another one of the systems that I've encouraged people to do in a way that works for you, on your desktop, on your computer, when you get the memories of a post that you're like, banging, love that one, I'm so smart, love myself, download it, or copy and paste that material and save it in, like, Word, save it in OneNote, save it somewhere where you can organize and see the posts that are intellectual property that you want to use again. That's something that's rich, that whether it's a teaching, whether it's a story you told, whether it's a part of what you're doing, an evolution of your brand and who you are, like, that stuff you want to keep. And regardless of if you ever get shut down by anything else anyway, regardless, now you have a library of intellectual property that's going to serve you in the future, no matter what you do, in any way you want. You can create courses out of that. You can create a video series out of that. You can do whatever you want out of that. Like, you can start YouTubing out of that. But saving the stuff that you create, being thoughtful up front, what system do I want? Do I create everything in Word before I even go? Do I now grab everything and put it into Word or OneNote or whatever, and then I continue to add to it as I go, and then I create the actual post there, and then I post it in Facebook or in, like, Instagram or wherever? Like, considering these systems, because it's smart, but it's also way easier to produce more when you have it organized in one spot that you can access no matter what. Yeah. Google Docs is my favorite now.
Yes. Yes. Google Docs gives me so much trouble. Me and David have this talk all the time where it's like Google Docs wants to be easy and normal, but it's like the clunkiest thing in the world for me. So I have to go with OneDrive, and it pains me because Google is so connected to everything. So it makes me angry. But it's just, essentially they're the same systems, like the way that you can access it from anywhere. And so OneDrive, Google Docs, I mean, Apple might have something too that I don't know about, but like there's lots of different systems. Asana, like Trello, Monday, there's, you know, even just like some people have, well, Evernote's another one actually. Some people just do it in Excel. Some people just do it in Word, but having it somewhere where you can access it no matter what. Word's in the cloud, Excel's in the cloud if you have OneDrive. So these are the ways that, like, and when you see, I think Jenni Rae too, like when you look at that and you're looking at the systems you have now, it's easier to build something more powerful, potent, and streamlined with the systems that you already have, knowing what you now know and looking at, okay, what do I want? Do I want to grow Instagram or YouTube? Do I want to?
Right.
Like, do I want to grow this email list? Do I want to connect with people in there so that they see something and they know it's coming and they know what kind of a culture I use, like, my email for? You know, like, I don't say with me too, like with text, with my text and my email, I'm not spamming hard. Like, you'll hear about the promotions that I'm running, but other than that, you're just going to get help from me. You're going to get tips. You're going to get videos that like nobody else gets. Like that's, so it's not like, you know, you can create whatever you want in terms of a culture outside of social media. And it's a matter of what feels good that I actually want to do, because I'll do that. I won't do something I think I have to do, but I'll do something I want to do.
Well, I think that's an interesting point, Sandra, because even in spite of all the tears and the very real losses and the things that I'll never get back, I can choose to stay in that, or I can look at it from this perspective of what do I want? There was a lot of things, and somebody listening may feel this too. When you start a certain way, you know, you start your business and you start a certain way, you launch a group or you are doing something over on Instagram or whatever you're doing, you were just doing the thing, and you're doing it because you've always done it, and you're doing it because you've already started, and you're doing it because there is some traction, and you're doing it because now there's an expectation and people expect you to show up there. And so the beauty of this for me, but it doesn't have to take Bob, you know, severing the head off the beast for you to do this for yourself too, is to ask yourself, what do you want? Like, what's wanted and needed right now for you in your business that would give you life and bring back passion for you? And so I'm laying it all out. I mean, my office is like a disaster right now, like Post-it notes and whiteboarding and all the stuff to go, what do I want to create? Like, I've been handed this beautiful gift, horribly packaged, very real losses in it, but this beautiful gift of a start over. And if I had my way, which I actually do now, would I want to do it the same, or would I tweak it? Would I totally axe certain pieces that for me, I don't know if anybody else is wired this way. I don't know if you are, Sandra, but like certain things would eat at me and like run like a loop in the back of my mind. Like, I haven't posted in that group. Oh my gosh, it's been too many days. And oh my gosh, like, it was literally like anxiety inducing. It was keeping me up at night, and I'm worrying that I haven't given enough value or posted enough or served the way that I set the expectation that I would. And so because my capacity, my humanity has hit, and I'm in the middle, like there's only so many hats I can wear. When I'm in like massive creation mode in my business, I kind of go dark over here in some of these other modes, which I need to just hire like 3 more people. That's the solution. But I don't know. I think there's an invitation in all of it for us to just look at like, okay, if this really was the reality for us, how do you want to be with it? Like, what would you want to create and not do anymore? And why do we keep feeling like we have to just keep doing it because we started that way? Maybe the way you start the business, it's what got you to this moment. And now it's time. This whole thing's about a pivot. Like, this whole thing is about who do you want to be? So when it comes to your brand, it's like, how do you want to communicate that brand that feels so right and authentic and fun and makes you feel alive, versus like, if you're doing something you hate, it's going to impact your brand, right? Your brand's going to be like, want. It's like Eeyore brand.
It's disgusting.
It's gross. Like, nobody wants it.
No, you don't want it either.
And I feel like that's probably what I've emanated at times when I'm not out of my lane. I'm not in my zone anymore. And it doesn't mean that the thing was bad or wrong. It just means it served its purpose. It got me to this moment, and it's time for a pivot. And I think those of us that can be agile in those pivots and know that what it's doing to our brand, like, it's actually silently killing me. Like, I hate it. So what's it doing to my brand? I've got to shift it.
This is great because this is part of the potency of the brand, like how to make a brand that pops. That's the language that I used when I was talking about this live that we're going to do. And what you're hitting on is it. It's if there are things about your business that you don't love, if there's a way to deliver things that you're not obsessed with, if there's a thing that you're doing, like that's why I don't have my own Facebook group anymore. Like I don't want to do it anymore. I learned that it exhausted me. And when it exhausted me there, that exhausted me, period. So I'm not showing up anywhere else. Well, I'm not excited anywhere else because I'm exhausted from even thinking about what I have to do with that, or how I have to show up, or did I show up enough, or did I miss something, or it was too much for me emotionally, like nervous system wise. I don't want to do it. So I stopped doing it. If there's something in your business, delivery system, the people that you're working with, the clients that you're serving that maybe aren't right for you, but you felt desperate and you felt like you had to work with them because what if you don't, like you're not going to have any money. All that little stuff that you're looking at, if you clean these things up, you're allowed to, instead of saying, what do I do now? You get to say, what do I get to do? Who do I want to be? How do I want to play? What does this get to look like? How much fun do I really want to have? Does it get to be as fun as I want? Wait, the answer is always yes. Okay, yes. Then if that's true, and it is, then how do I want to create this thing? What do I want to show up like? If I was allowed, this is the brand that's going to knock people's socks off. If you show up and you say, I'm excited about this thing that I do. Number one, I'm so excited about what I do. I'm confident. I love it. I love helping people. The feedback's incredible. It's just a bonus, but I know I do this great job. And secondly, I'm going to show up assuming that everybody's obsessed with me, that I couldn't even mess it up if I tried, that I could like puke on screen by accident and they'd be like, more, go again. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll try. Like anything that you do, if you couldn't mess it up, how would you show up? You'd show up as fully and freely as yourself as you ever could, which is the thing that magnetizes people. Number one, the people see people like them and they're like, oh, you're my person, let's go. And then the other thing that draws people in that are also your people but aren't like super excitable like that, those people are going to be like, wow, how does she just like do whatever she wants? How does she just like act herself even though people are watching? Like, how does she do? That's attractive. That level of confidence and ownership of just like, I don't know, I'm just like being myself. Like, what's wrong with that? Isn't that what we do? No, that's not what everybody does. And people need to see it modeled, and people need to see other leaders doing it. And you can do it when you love what you do, period. It's like not even hard. It's effortless.
Yeah. Yeah. I just sit in it.
I'm so excited because you're, and I think talking about branding too, like you found the imagery that finally suited who you are. Like, this is like, okay, this is so essentially Jenni Rae that like the image, and you guys got to see, this is why you've got to follow her and look at her banner. Like, you got to look at her cover. You got to look at the stuff that's coming, look at her stories, because this branding is so Jenni Rae Oates as a woman, human, this is what kind of vibe you're going to see if you come into my house. This is what you're going to see if you come into my closet. This is what you're going to see. This is who she is as a woman. And it's like, and you get to see it all over my brand. And the color combinations are the feelings that get evoked through working with Jenni Rae. This particular set of color combinations mimics the feeling that you get when you get these breakthroughs, when you clean this stuff up, when you feel empowered. Like, it all makes sense. So when you see her branding, this is why you just witnessed me be like, oh, I'm so excited about it. Because when you look at it, you'll be like, oh yeah, now I get it. Like, Sandra loves that stuff. And it happens to be a style that I also enjoy. Like, this is, you and I have very similar decor. Like, look at our office backgrounds. Like, it's
so
stupid.
Crazy. Like, seriously.
Yes, yeah.
And my wall was gray, but then I painted it cream.
Yes, exactly.
We literally have the same house.
Yeah, mine will be next. I'll probably turn it cream. But like, so of course I love it, but it's also like, I know through and through that brand is who you are. Like, I know that you show up like that. I know that you actually deliver on these people. I know how much heart you put into it. So when I see the brand match that, I'm like, freaking got it. She got it. And now they're going to know. And before this just disappears, I'm going to plug my phone in because it's all black and I can't see anything. So continue. So talk to me.
Oh gosh.
Can you talk to me about why you fell in love with, like, what was it about the brand colors and like combination that you chose that you were like, oh yeah, this is it. This is like, how did you land on this is it?
You know, that is funny because that you say that, because it's taken so many different iterations. The first iteration for me was very much more blush and calming, and it just very neutral and muted, which I love. Like I mean, my house is very like Joanna Gaines kind of feel, and I love that. But like the more that I started putting stuff out to the world and creating things and creating my own stuff through Canva or whatever I was doing, there was just this piece missing. And it was this fierceness. It was this like fierce and fiery part of me that I feel like is the only thing that has helped me, not only one thing that has helped me get through the loss of a child, multiple businesses, a marriage that we were separated, divorce papers signed, like just ashes, like lots of ashes and beauty coming out of those ashes. And so I've only like literally this brand is launching this week. It's so exciting. It's been in motion, but this rebrand of it, this iteration of it is so exciting. And because what you won't see on the banner yet is there's a lot of animal prints and fun things like that, that to me are just like inside of every woman and man. I believe there's just this fierce, fiery, like this fighter and like inside of us that wants to be able to rise above hard things, that wants to know how to do it. And up until now, we've found our ways with it, but a lot of us feel like we're surviving or we're doing it in very unhealthy ways. And so I think even just like the color for me was like almost this pop of like, get off your seat and do it. Like the brand is do whatever it takes. So many times in my life, it's like, but I can swing to this such unhealthy way of doing that. And so it's still about the health of it, but it's tapping into that fierce, fiery part of you that has the ability to do that, has the ability to do whatever it takes.
That's what it feels like, that animalistic kind of like, it's very subtle. Like when she's talking, you'll see it, guys, when she's talking about the animal print, it's so muted that you'll miss it if you're not aware of it, like in certain graphic designs. But there's this, nobody doesn't love, that's a hard way to say it, but like that's the way I want to say it. Nobody doesn't love accomplishing something hard, overcoming something that they weren't sure they could do. Nobody doesn't love the idea of looking back at how far they've come. Like this is the like element I think that you're talking about in the branding. It's like, yeah, but like you could be a passive person, you could be a calm person, you could be like one of the Zen super chill people that like you just want to like relax with. You could be the energetic person, you could be like the, social butterfly. It doesn't matter who you are personality wise, because you're human. You have that underdog like achievement, like on steroids type of feeling when something amazing happens, and you're like, it's just this humanity. This is why we watch those movies that make us feel like Rudy or like anything, like any of the Disney movies when they overcome. It's like this is the human nature that we celebrate, and you have that in your brand. Stepping into it and not like ignoring it, because you do have both sides. If you haven't been around Jenni Rae online or in person, I'll just say that she has the ability to hold, when you hear somebody hold space, like hear somebody say that, like, oh, I want to hold space for people. Not everybody knows what that means. Holding space means you're allowing somebody to go through something without fixing it for them, making it about them, redirecting, correcting, soothing. You're just holding it, letting them be it and process it out loud. Jenni Rae can hold space with somebody more uncomfortably than you can, because she can sit there to the point of like, is this getting awkward? I'm not sure. Are we still gonna, she feels in charge though. We're gonna let it happen. And she can sit there and let you hold it and process it. And so this essence of like stable, sturdy, calm, like strong, she has that ability. So these muted colors that she talked about in the previous branding make sense. But if you've also seen her do a entire full house mastermind on top of a wedding weekend, on top of creating the entire wedding herself, on top of doing business, on top of having children and moving around, if you've seen her do all that, you're like, oh yeah, that's where the hot pink comes from. Got it. Loud and clear. Yeah, I got it. So there's like these, but I think that part is the part that draws women in. They want to have that piece too, but all the information that you carry is still comforting.
That's awesome. Okay, so I want to say something about three of the elements in the brand, because I know what you're all about in this brilliant branding program too, is just creating a brand that you're obsessed with. And so that's why when I think about this brand, I'm obsessed. So the pink, I have resisted pink for so long. I was not the girly girl. I was the tomboy growing up. So much so, I was the athlete. I was a Division I athlete, and I made fun of the cheerleaders because that wasn't a real sport, you know. But really, deep down inside, it was a deep insecurity in me that I didn't know how to dress like they did. I didn't know how to put on makeup like they did. And so I had to do all these antics to try to like make myself feel better. And so this went on all through college. And so God blessed me with a now 17-year-old who is obsessed with fashion and makeup, and has anything you ever see that looks good on me, I take no credit. It's her.
House of Eden.
God has blessed me with this child who has like literally helped me tap into this feminine part of me that I did not know even existed. And I feel like so many driven women, so many high capacity, capable women who are just putting their head down, getting the thing done, that have learned to they strap everybody and everything on their shoulders and just carry it. There's that feminine piece that we lose because we step into some masculinity.
Yeah.
We step into this role reversal where we have to be the strong ones all the time. We have to be the ones to carry the load. And so I resisted this pink. I was like, well, I'll go blush. Like it's, it's really subtle. But then it was like, no, like I am a woman. Hear me roar is kind of what happened. And so one of the elements in the brand that you'll see is this animal print. One is leopard, and there's a subtle one and then a not so subtle one. And if you see me on the street, you will usually see like leopard heels or some pop of leopard. And it's just that fierce part of me. But the thing with the leopard this is why I say, you know, you're talking about the brand, the brilliant branding, be obsessed with your brand, make it you. This is the me part of this, is that for years and years and years, I ran. I was a runner. I played Division I soccer, but I ran afterwards, and just like obsessive running, 12 miles a day. And what I realized, like, especially after my son passed away, that I would run and run and run and run. And it hit me one day, I'm running from something. And I wanted to figure out how to run to something. What if I could shift everything from running away from something to running to it? What would that kind of running look like? And so slowly but surely, as I got healthier and more whole and more authentically me, my running now is running to things. I'm not running from things anymore. So when I think about that cheetah, it's like I'm running to something. What am I running to? And how can I help women tap into that cheetah in them, where they stop running from their past or running from the shame or running from all the stuff? What are they running to? So then there's this other animal print that, like, last minute I called my designer and I was like, oh my gosh, don't kill me. I have to put this one in there. And I gave a little video of my bedroom and my house. And I'm like, okay, so I have cowhide like in my house. You know, I'm a Tennessee girl. I grew up in the country, but I don't sound like it. I had an English teacher in high school that said, you will never get a job if you talk that way. So I changed how I talked. So you would not know I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and live in Nashville now. But where I live, out the backside of my house, I have about a 2.5-mile loop that Sandra has been on. We should post a video of this together.
Yes, please.
Again.
Give it to me again. I still don't have the clean video. I need it again.
Oh my gosh, I'll send it to you today.
Facebook stories.
Sandra is hysterical in this. It's so on brand for Sandra. thesandrahaseleyco. Here we go. We've got the brand video launching today. We went on a little journey around my cow loop, but this is where I go running. And when I go run around this cow loop, literally it is like, my kids have named one of the cows Shoddy. So there's Shoddy, and I say hi to Shoddy. But it's just this serene thing. I'm like in a neighborhood, and yet I get access to this gorgeous serenity where I get downloads and ideas. And so those cows have helped this brand come alive, because so much of the goodness in me has come from just like tapping into like getting out of the busy, getting out of my office and into nature. So I'm like, I've got to put the cows in there. Like the cows are so much a part of this brand.
Shoddy's coming to play. Here we go.
You can do whatever you want with your brand, but it's like every little piece of it's so intentional, so me. And I feel like not just me, but it's an invitation to what's inside of other women and men. We're launching a men's side of it in August as well, which is so exciting. So men will have to embrace some pink, but we do have some other things in store for them. But
real men wear pink, and we know it. No, but this is
true.
This is what we're talking about. When I say, like, I said it through branding, and I know we have to wrap up in a few minutes, but what I really want to hit that part, because you hit it. Hey, Jody, when it comes to your brand and looking at, if you're not happy with your brand right now, like if you're not obsessed with your brand right now, then what happens is you go online and you see something that you've made and you're like, meh. And then it makes you think, like, one thing, like you could see your banner, your cover banner, and be like, I still don't know what I'm doing with that. Like, I don't know. I don't know, that doesn't really feel like me, but I don't know what feels like me right now. So it just stays. And then what am I doing? Does that even make sense with my offer? Wait, is the offer itself, like, is that complete, or should I be doing, this is where the brain goes. When you
Yes.
see one thing, the
True.
visual cue, it's the give a mouse a cookie. And then all of a sudden you're like, how did we get here? The house is a mess. And you're like, I just looked at my Facebook banner. I don't know. And then, so it's when you're obsessed with what you have, then the other scenario, the best scenario, is that you look at, you sign on and you see your banner and you're like, yeah, that's me. And then you're like, ooh, what do I want to say to them? Like, this is the excitement. And then it's like, you know what I'm going to do a story about? I'm going to do a story about this. And then it's like, I haven't talked about this in a little while. That would make sense coming up with the launch that I'm doing. Da, 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 da. And then your brain goes into excitement creation mode, inspiration mode. This is the way better. And the opposite is, if you're not obsessed with your branding, this is where so many people can visually accidentally get stuck into these like little purgatory traps of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel stuck. And it's like, there's no energy and excitement, but visual cues get us excited. Movie posters help us get excited about what we're going to watch. Like in the 90s, when we got a CD album, we're like, we don't know what this sounds like, but I can't wait to play it. Like nothing was being teaser released. So, but this is the same thing for your brand. So it can trigger that excitement, which is the energy that you actually need to show up authentically, back to the loop where we started. Then that's the thing that magnetizes your people.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And Sandra, for anybody listening, like, I just encourage you to work with Sandra on your brand, because, you have been so instrumental in just like you talk about me holding space, and I love to hold space for other humans so that they can feel seen and heard and get the results that they want, like push them out of where they're at to something newer. And I feel like you hold space also, and in a different way. And you've held space for me for a year and a half, 2 years, as this baby that I've been carrying, this idea that I had 8 years ago, it's been in gestation. It was coming alive. And like, when it was born, like, I don't want to dismiss it and be like, oh, I don't like the way it looked. Like, it's like you've held space for me all these months and months and months, and like just talking through stuff and looking through stuff and working together on stuff. And so I just want to encourage, like, if somebody's at a place where they're just like, well, I have an idea, or this fledgling idea, or I've been doing something already, but it's half baked and I don't like it. Like, you're the perfect person to just keep going, like keep going with it, because every iteration of it becomes more and more and more authentically you. And sometimes I think we just abandon ship. Like, if I'd abandoned ship, a year and a half ago on a version that I didn't like, I would have never gotten to this moment. And so if you intersect me right now today and you start seeing all this new brand, one thing we do as women, especially, it's so easy to be like, oh, she just had it all figured out. Oh, she just like was so easy. Like, that thing, it's just like, look at it. It looks so good. And it's like, if you even knew the amount of hours Sandra and I have talked, the amount of work that I've put in my office, like, you have no idea. And so wherever you're at, like, just keep going, like, do the next program, do the next thing, jump into Brilliant Branding, like, do it, because it's going to be that next step for you that actually gives you more clarity. Like, where do we think clarity comes from? Is it just gonna like drop from the sky and like our brand appears? It's like everything we're doing on it is so crucial to it actually becoming the fullness of what we want it to be. So just a little encouragement.
So good, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna be like, you are releasing this stuff like as of what today? Yesterday was the release of Do It, like the brand image, right? Yes.
I threw a little image out this morning, and this week is the brand release. And the Crazy Cycle Blueprint is something I've been working on for years. I have women go through a group program with it, but I have now created a version everybody can get, which I'm so excited about, because it needs to be in people's hands. That will be dropping this week. So
okay, let me know, because I'm gonna put it back in this video when you have it. I'm gonna tag it back in this video. Okay. And I'm so excited. I've seen elements of the branding and I've been like, oh yes, yes, yes. And I have the Do It like square tile like up in my kitchen. It's so good. And then but I can't wait to see it like all together. I can't wait to see all the pieces. Do you see how excited I get for your brand? This is what happens, people. Like, when you're obsessed with your own brand, that catches fire. Like, fire is very, very contagious, and you just it's fiery. It'll catch fire with all the right people. And so this is why it's easy for me to promote Jenni Rae's brand, because I love it, because she loves it, but I also love it because it's my style, and that's like, we are the same kind of people, and that's what you want. And also because I can see it well and understand it, because the visuals make sense, the branding makes sense, the language makes sense, I can recommunicate that, which makes it easy to refer people. You know, like this is all the branding. This is why branding can be so brilliant, like enhancing, like finding out who you are as a brand so that everybody else can see the brilliance in who you are and what you do. This is it. And Jenni Rae is the perfect example. Like that's why this timing was like crazy, because it's like, oh my gosh,
Crazy.
she's doing the release right now, and this really is the perfect like test study. This is it. So oh my gosh. So make sure you have that for me so I can put it back in here, and I'll definitely share it on stories too. But I'm so glad that you're back, and we're not done yet. And for anybody else who knows and loves Jenni Rae like I do, share her stories in your stories when she's coming with it, because this is going to be a freebie piece that women are going to want and need this, and their husbands are about to get a whole different version of them too. Like I witnessed that with a bunch of husbands that are obsessed with what Jenni Rae is doing because of how their wives transformed. So this is stuff you want to share. That way the right people will see Jenni Rae now that she's back on Facebook, and fortifying other areas of her business as well. This is going to be something to watch. Watch Jenni Rae do this. Watch how she models it. Watch how she shows up, because it'll give you basically the sample about how to do it yourself. So Crispin, thanks for the presentation. You're welcome. You're welcome. And also just want to not ignore Jenny Hogue. I know you said something. It's helpful for me as I'm walking through a business transition rebranding for myself. It's forcing me to get crystal clear on what I want to create. And isn't that beautiful? You get to do whatever you want. So like consider what you actually want and what feels like you, and then go hard on it. Like go super hard. Yay! Memorial Day weekend.
Awesome.
Awesome. I love you so much.
Go party.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for the patience, everyone, too, about the transition. So phone only. We'll know that again now, but at least it worked. And I can't wait to see the rest of your stuff, guys. I love all of you. I'm so glad you were here and had time with us on a birthday week, or on a celebration weekend. Bethany, love you too. Yay! And Brilliant Branding will be starting tomorrow. So if you need information on that, you can DM me about that. But have the best day with your families. Jenni Rae, give all of your humans a hug. I love them so much. And I will talk to you shortly.
Okay. Talk to you soon.